Hello everybody. Now you're watching a video about punctuation. I'll share several types of punctuation with examples and some exercises. Well, before going further, I'm going to show you some examples. Now, please consider this statement and look at the picture. So here, if there is no punctuation in the sentence, misunderstanding happens. In this statement, we can see that it is telling to eat children, so we are going to eat children. But now, compare to this. The second statement tells her children to come and eat. So the punctuation mark must be clear. Now, look at this statement. What do you think about this? Okay, so I can say here that a woman without her man is nothing. So it means that without a man, a woman is nothing. And the second, without her, man is nothing. So in this case, a woman is saying something. And we can see that the second statement telling that a man is nothing without a woman. So the meanings are opposite, aren't they? Alright, so what is punctuation? Punctuation is the set of marks in a piece of writing to clarify meanings, mainly by separating or linking phrases and sentences. So in speaking, we use pauses and the pitch of the voice to make what we say clear. And here in writing, punctuation plays a similar role, that is to make easier to read. And remember, correct punctuation is essential for clear and effective writing. Alright, so here are types of punctuation. We have period or full stop, comma, question mark, exclamation mark, apostrophe, quotation marks, colon, semicolon. Let's begin with the first type, period or full stop. It is used to end of a sentence. It can be a statement or a command. See some examples. Next, comma. It is used to separate items in a list or to pause after an introductory word or independent clauses. There are some introductory words such as meanwhile, finally, however, furthermore, basically, yes, well, and others. Now, please check the examples for comma. Next is question mark. It is to end a direct question or interrogative sentence. So it is to ask a question. See the examples? And the next is exclamation mark. It is to emphasize a strong feeling. So here are the examples. We can use exclamation mark to express joy, love, surprise, or anger. Next, we have apostrophe. It is to show ownership and to shorten words in a contraction. But remember, um, you should not shorten words in a formal writing. Yes. Okay, now see the examples. The first example is to show possessiveness of noun. And the second example is to show the omission of letters. So this is from they are. Next, we have quotation marks. It is to indicate direct quotations and to mark for the titles of shorter pieces of work. Let's see the examples. The first is to indicate direct quotation, and the second is to set off the titles. Next, we have colon. So, colon is used to introduce a list of items or to signal something important. Um, Meaning, for example, or that is to say that, and here are the functions. The first, we can use a colon before a series of items, especially after phrases like as follows or the following. This is the example. And number two, we can use a colon after an independent clause for emphasis or clarification or to introduce a quotation. We have the examples. And the last, we can use a colon to separate items when writing the time and after the salutation of a formal letter. This is the example of number 3. Okay, next we have semicolon. Semicolon, it is used to join sentences or separate items. Here we have 3 purposes or functions. The first, we can use a semicolon between independent clauses that are not joined by conjunctions and, but, or, nor, for, and yet. So we can use semicolon here. And number 2, we can use a semicolon between independent clauses joined by words such as, for example, for instance, that is, besides, accordingly, moreover, nevertheless, furthermore, otherwise, therefore, however, consequently, instead, or hence. And the next, we can use a semicolon to separate phrases or clauses that already have commas. Well, besides punctuation marks, capitalization is also important. So here in capitalization, all sentences should start with capital letter, and capital letters can be used to start names, days, places, and in abbreviations. Remember, small words like a and the, but are not capitalized. So you can see the functions and also the examples. The first word of a sentence, the first word in a quotation, the greeting and closing in a letter, the names of days, months, and holidays, people's first and last names, their initials, and their titles. The word that names yourself, I, it should be capitalized, and the names of streets, cities, and states, the names of specific buildings and monuments, and the titles of stories, movies, TV shows, video games, and others. Okay, now let's practice. Please guess your answers. So you have to put the correct punctuation mark in the sentences using these punctuation marks. Okay, so next you can check your answers here. And in number 4, you can also use a comma again after pineapples. There are two ways. Okay, and the next one is still the same, but with the different punctuation marks. So again, put the correct punctuation mark in the sentences using these punctuation marks. Alright, now please see the answer. So I think that's all. Punctuation saves lives. Well, we really need punctuation, especially when writing, because it makes us easy to read and understand what the writer wants to express. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.